Hey everybody, it's Mike from Orderflows, and welcome back to my channel. If you've been liking the videos I've been putting out, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Like and subscribe to it. And if you guys ever have any comments you want to make about order flow or trading in general, just be sure to put them in the comment section below. I do go through them a bit more proactively than I have in the past. And I was looking at some of the comments that I got recently, and there's a couple of comments that I just wanted to comment on. That really sort of struck me as sort of the reason why people struggle with trading in general, not just with order flow. On one of the videos I made recently, someone commented, "This will take at least a decade to learn, nearly impossible." No, I really disagree with that. It's order flow is not that complicated. I don't understand why people think it's going to be, take forever to learn. A footprint chart is very basic. It's just basic information of what's trading on the bid and the offer. If you've ever worked in a trading company, whether it's a bank or a trading commodity trading firm, or even in a prop firm, they don't give you a decade to sit down and learn. There's that whole misconception of, oh, it takes 10,000 hours to master something. 10,000 hours is, if you're working a full-time job, 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 2,000 hours, right? So 10,000 hours is 5 years. It's, people use it in the sports realm, but when it comes to the trading realm, if you go work for a bank or a trading firm, and they only give you a few months, 3 months, if that, to become profitable. They're not going to give you a decade to learn. So trying to analyze order flow is maybe not using all the pieces in your brain, because we go through order flow on a daily basis. We just don't realize it. You have to, in a sense, internalize it. Right? Did it take you 10 years to learn how to drive a car? No, it took you a few weeks, right, to understand sort of the basic mechanics of driving, turning on the car, pulling out into traffic, driving on the expressway and not getting killed, right? You're still alive, right? You can drive a car. It didn't take you 10 years to master how to drive a car. It took experience. It took time. You need to have some screen time. And at the end of the day, what order flow is, it's not a trading strategy, right? It's not an indicator. It's just data from the market, right? It's telling you what traded at what price. The volume, was it traded on the bid? Was it volume traded on the offer? Did it leave an imbalance? Was it heavy volume? Was it light volume? And it's up to you to learn to decipher it. And honestly, it doesn't take 10 years to learn. It doesn't take 5 years, right? You could learn it a lot quicker, depending on, everyone learns at a different level, I guess. But order flow, at the end of the day, it's just data. It's data generated from the market, right? I mean, guys that traded on the floor, right, floor traders, they didn't spend 10 years trying to master the order flow. They had to pick it up pretty quick. Otherwise, they would go broke. They couldn't afford to pay for their seats, etc. And, back in those days, it was still not cheap to become a member. But one of the reasons why exchange memberships were so high is so you could see the order flow. You could see when, the big brokerage firm or the big bank was buying and selling, and seeing, how much was on the bid, how much was on the offer, things like that. And, when you're trading on a screen, things are different, but you can see the actual now. You can actually see the volume. Whereas before, if you were a big trader and and you're trading off the floor, you'd have to call the floor and talk to the guys on the floor, the phone clerk, or sometimes the broker would come out of the pit and talk to you on the phone, saying, "Oh yeah, so and so did this, so and so did that." But now we live in this information age, this computer age, where it's all right there on the screen. Every trade that goes through on the exchange level prints on the screen, and it actually makes it, in my opinion, a hell of a lot easier to see what's going on. So again, for example, I did a lot of videos on this last week, right? Just talking about thin prints in the bar. Okay, this is ultra bonds. If I were to just turn on the thin prints in the bar, it's a very simple concept, right? It's not brain surgery, right? You don't have to sit here and worry about gamma and vega and all these option Greeks. You just got to look at the volume in the order flow, right, on the footprint chart. So I'm just going to look at, this is a 4-range ultra bond chart. I'm just going to look for those areas inside the bar where there was a lack of volume traded. okay? Simple, 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 simple. Okay, down here, there was a 0 in here, okay? Again, it's colored red because that's bearish. Okay, market sold off a couple ticks, then made a new low. Now it's coming back up. Here you've got a 0 print on the way back up, and now you get the bigger move, another 0 print in here. And then you start adding in other parts of order flow analysis. Okay, well, how about, when there's some form of imbalance in the market, okay, like a stacked imbalance, meaning 3 or more imbalances stacked neatly on top of each other. Okay, let's take a look. Let's just simply turn on the indicator to look for stacked buying and stacked selling imbalances. Okay, so you just scroll down in here, stacked imbalance. I'm going to set that to 3, minimum cluster size 3, and turn it on. Okay, well, I know here there was a stacked buying imbalance. Okay, so now I got the thin volume, I got no volume rather, it's a 0 print inside the bar, which is quite strong. I also got a stacked buying imbalance in there. Okay, I know that the low was made, low of the day was just made, about 10 minutes earlier. Now I got strong aggressive buying coming in, right? I can take that information, because all that you're looking here is just information of what traded in the market and how it traded to pull the trigger. Okay, now that sort of leads me to the next comment on here that I got. It's frustrating to watch these videos. I'm giving up now. Okay, fine, give up and never tell a strategy. I feel like I've been given strategies every day. It's up to you. I give you sort of ways to look at the market. You develop your strategy. Part of trading is, it's a personal journey, finding what works for you, what makes sense to you. I'm not trying to go out there and say, this is what you have to do because Mike says it has to be this. I have to trade it this way, right? All I do is go through past action, telling it went up, it went down. Yeah, I tell you why it went up, why it went down, so that when you see it again, you know what to do, right? That's the whole point of education, to educate people. But I guess, some people aren't interested in learning, right? They just tell me where to buy, just tell me where to sell. In that case, you shouldn't be watching trading videos. Just find a hedge fund or investment fund or, a money market fund rather. Just throw your money in there and leave it be. What's the point? The whole point is so you can learn and wrap your head around what's happening in the market. Can you show your trades, at least record based on your strategy? There's so many different strategies, honestly. I'm just teaching you what to look for. And I've done live trading workshops. I do those several times over the year. And, I take traders through exactly what I'm looking for. Because, every time I could look at a chart today, right? For example, I could look at this chart. And if I say, okay, I'm going to teach you what to look for on this day, it's going to be this, this, and this, and it doesn't develop, then the whole day is wasted, right? So when I do like my live training workshops, I'm going through the order flow with you as it's developing, what's developing, and how to trade it. So, there's many different ways to look at this data, right? More than just one way. I mean, that's what I tell beginning traders, is just sort of focus on the one part of order flow that resonates with you and go from there, okay? And again, even when I've shared my trading records in the past, and everyone that's been in the live trading sessions, they've seen it as well. Excuse me. People go, he just got lucky, or, he had a good couple of days or a good week, etc. They still don't want to believe. It's like those, the Navy rescue team, right? The boat capsizes. There's 5 guys in the water, right? And the guy that's coming down from the helicopter has to make the decision, well, who do I save? Well, you save the one that's swimming towards you, that wants to be saved. The one that's just sort of flapping his hands in the water is probably going to be the last one that's going to get saved, or he'll just drown. But at least, other people get it, right? DVOF says, how would you ever know trade records were real or not anyway? So I can easily take my real statement and edit it and turn all the losers into winners, right? Everything is fake now. Just look at all those FX influencers who show fake profit and loss statements. Exactly, right? It's not about showing the profit and loss statements that you're going to make me a believer, right? It's like, I even replied to this comment saying, he gets it, right? DV gets it, right? He understands. These are instructional videos so you could test and build your own ideas. Exactly. Yes, exactly. right? In trading, nothing works 100% and nothing works at all if you do not have faith and confidence to take a trade. Perfect explanation, right? This confidence is built when you yourself have tested your ideas and know exactly what conditions under which they work or not. No one can teach you how to trade like them, and that's important to know, because I do get some traders, just tell me, I want to learn how you trade exactly. Well, no, you're not going to be an exact clone of how I trade, and I wouldn't want people to be that way, right? You got to be a free thinker. You got to think for yourself, right? I always say the best computer is the one between your shoulders, right? The one inside your skull there. This is a function of your own personality and your own hard work and efforts. Exactly, yes. Preach, brother, preach. You get it, you understand. But still, some people, they just don't get it, right? For what it's worth. I could sit here and I could say, all you have to do is just focus on when a zero prints in the bar, internally on a bar, in a thick market. By thick market, mean a market that trades a lot of volume, and build your trading strategy around there. For example, right, if we just go back to, this is the E-minis, E-mini chart. Now, when I first released the software back in 2015, okay, and I released it because, again, other traders were asking me for it, and there was one trader, he even said, this is how he trades, right? He uses my exhaustion prints, right? There was at that time, there was like 4 or 5 tools. One of them was the exhaustion print, okay? Default is set to 9. And let me just get the chart up here, right? Even though I had ratios on there, imbalance reversals, zero prints, these exhaustion prints, after he got my software, he's like, the reason why I bought your software, he's very upfront about it, is because, I have my own ways of determining support and resistance, right? But I want to be highlighted to those areas where there's potential exhaustion. So if this is an area where his, chart is showing resistance, and he's coming up here and he's seeing exhaustion prints, which is a sign of, lack of interest in buying, that's his go signal that, that this resistance is probably going to hold, because we don't have that strong buying taking place up here, right? It's not about learning exactly how I trade and trying to become a trader like me. It's about taking what I teach and what I advocate, as approaches to the market, and using it in your own trading, right? And quite honestly, if the things that I talk about in these videos, over the years, and even tools in my software, if they weren't useful, all these other software companies wouldn't be copying them. Sierra Charts is, you go to the forum, people are asking, can you add this, can you add that? A lot of it is what's already built into my software, right? The problem is, when people buy the other software, they don't understand how to use it, right? You could just open up NinjaTrader, for example, or any other charting platform, and you're going to see all of these tools in there, right? Buy, sell pressure, buy volume, Camarilla pivots, candlestick patterns, CCI, choppiness index, correlation, obviously DARVA, DEMA, disparity index. Do you use any of those? No, because you don't know how to use them. It's not about just taking a tool from somebody else and say, oh yeah, I know how that's calculated, I put it on my chart, but what's the practical application of it, right? And that's why I do these videos, is to teach people what to look for, right? Because if you have a tool of mine, I want to make sure you understand how to use it and how to benefit from it. And again, order flow doesn't take 10 years, doesn't take 5 years, doesn't take 3 years. All you have to do is you got to find the pieces of order flow that make sense to you, right? When I started trading an order flow chart, now granted, I had been in the markets for a while and I understood order flow, how it really what it was, because I literally started trading the electronic sessions, on the trading desk at Dean Witter when Globex first started back in the 90s, early 90s, right? You had CME had Globex, Board of Trade had started out as Aurora, and it's basically just called Project A. NYMEX, Comex had Access, okay? And, sitting there staring at those screens, staring at the book, basically, I learned a lot of what to look for and how the markets react. So, I feel I have an edge, and, traders nowadays, when they come into the markets, they don't have that advantage of, getting a job at a trading firm, anything like that. Nowadays, it's very difficult to get a job at a trading firm. They want to have a certain background, certain education. But, I was fortunate to get in when I was able to get in. And I was able to learn order flow, right, and the importance of order flow. So, for example, right, I was just talking about the thin prints in the bar, right, the zeros taking place in the bar. So let's just take a look here at E-minis, if there was any in here, right? These are just tools, right? These are not trading strategies. What you do is you take a tool, then you build out a strategy from it. And if you're looking for me to hold your hand and build out a strategy for you personally, no. You have to find out what your risk tolerance is. How much heat are you willing to take when you're in a trade? Some people can take a lot of heat on a trade. Other people can't take much, okay? So here, right, I see here's a zero, okay? Market sold off a little bit, coming back up. There's a zero right here. We traded right back to that point. Here's a zero right here, went up, came right back to that point, okay? Just as here, right? There's a zero here. We sold off, came right back up to that point, came off a little bit. It came back up. So again, order flow is not meant to be a strategy in and of itself. It's just data. It's the market, basically, right? And it's up to you to analyze it the way a doctor would analyze an X-ray, right? I could look at it the same X-ray as my doctor, and I wouldn't know what's wrong with me, but he'll look at the X-ray. Oh, this, and that is wrong with you. You got COVID. You're going to die or something. But yeah, I could look at it and say, fuck, I don't know what that means. And it's the same thing with order flow. You have to know what to look for, and that's the whole point of these videos, is to educate you. So, if you're finding you're getting value out from my videos, be sure to comment on that. I do appreciate the comments, from traders that saying, they're getting stuff from my videos that they can develop and, go with in their own trading. So thanks, everyone. There's a bit of a rant today, but I just want to get that off my chest because it does. I say it bothers me, but it just has me shaking my head. I mean, people talk about the failure rate in trading, but it's like people give up before they even get started, right? So hopefully you guys are not like that, and you're willing to take the time to understand what's happening in the markets. All right, everyone, have a great day.